Our project's gonna be right over here. Kagan got some vines from Joe over at Iguanaland. Why not get them in the ground and give them a place to grow? These are gonna be a food source for the tortoise, the iguanas. There's Kahlua sitting right there. I'll show you how we're gonna do a quick and easy arbor. But what is my rule when we're working? Never set things where they can fall. And that post, the wind blew it and it came and cracked me on the side of the head. We'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am standing in front of the enclosures and we're gonna work on a project this morning. Not necessarily reptile related, but it definitely does tie back into them. Our project's gonna be right over here. Kagan got some vines from Joe over at Iguanaland. And this is one of the vines. She just replanted them into a little bit bigger pot. And this one already got twisted up right there. And it may recover, but all that's probably gonna die. This was just a cutting, had no growth on it. It was very similar to this, just like this one. It's growing. This is the growing season. Spring is right around the corner and these things are gonna skyrocket. Why not get them in the ground and give them a place to grow where they're not gonna break off? These are gonna be a food source for the tortoise, the iguanas. I believe one of the vines, the leaves, he said they loved. The other one, they loved the fruit and the leaves. So this is an afterthought. Honestly, if I was building a trellis here, these 4x6s that are concreted into the ground, I'd have let them go full height. But I cut them off at fence height. And now I am going to, I could do something freestanding, but that would give the weeds and the wasps a place. I'm actually just gonna lag a post onto what is already concreted into the ground. That'll work fine. And I will do that at this entry. I think this is a 4-foot entry gate. And over here we have a 6-foot entry gate. Everybody's already out sunning themselves. It was a very cool night. There's Kahlua sitting right there. And this larger gate that's large enough for the lawnmower to go through. And that will allow the vine to grow a little bit to there. I do not want it on my enclosures at all. And also this vine could grow down this length here. And I'm okay with it growing on this section of fence for a while. But also the nice arbor above the doorway. It would make a cool entry on both sides there. I had the lumber in the back of my truck. We're gonna get those 4x4 posts up first, and then I'll show you how we're gonna do a quick and easy arbor. All right, guys, I have the, Kagan's laughing at me, and we're gonna tell you in just a second what happened. I had these posts, I leaned them up here, and some wasps had a nest inside there and they started going a little crazy. So I ran and grabbed the wasp spray, got it. I got those wasps and then I decided to look over here. I'm looking in here and that post, the wind blew it and it came and cracked me on the side of the head. It zonked me for a second there. But I'm good. I'm back at it. We're working. Kagan's like,
are you okay?
Oh man, it was like somebody picked up that post and swung it at me. There might be some hair and blood on it somewhere. I've got the lower ones down, so now it can't fall, and they're tightened on there. I've gone through with my long bit, which will allow these 6-inch coated lags to go through with little resistance, and then I'm putting the smaller bit. I'll slide this to the side. See how it's held up now? And now I'll stick the small bit in there and then I'll be able to drive them in with the impact.
Well, my first reaction was like fear that you were hurt. until I realized you weren't. And then it's a little funny. Would you have just like laughed at me if that happened to me? You're making me feel like you would have.
I mean, it's a little funny. I mean, it hurts. But what is my rule when we're working? Never set things where they can fall. Never lean a level up against something where it could slide and fall. You never set things where they can fall.
Yeah.
You never set a drill up on the top of that post because it'll fall. Go through your foot or something like that. I mean, it's my own rule. But, you know, wasps. Now, normally we would never scab something on for a supporting post, but that's a 4x6. And I think I have like a whole bunch of bags of concrete on it for it to stay level. So it's gonna be fine. And these are giant lags. What's easy is we don't have to level them either because we already know that this post is level. Excellent. Now we'll knock out the posts on the other side and then we'll start building our trellises. All right, I have the top header pieces for the trellis cut, and I have measured out and marked. I set a little helper block to hold it for me, and I have a screw ready to tack it up once I level it. So I'm gonna go climb up the ladder. Why am I so nervous about things falling all of a sudden?
That's just what happens after you get cracked in the head.
That was being shell shocked.
Oh.
Or is that two Ninja Turtles?
Oh my gosh. Can't blame you for not wanting to repeat.
Just slightly high. Now I can pre-drill a hole on this side, lift it up just slightly, and I can actually put the permanent lag in it so it can't fall. Now we'll take the little screws that we had up there holding it up out and put lags in those holes. Now we just need to do that again on the other side. All right, I have Kagan over here. We just ripped and made our own 2x2s, even though these are actually 1.5 inches by 1 3/4, ripping the 2x4s in half. She is marking the reveal at 8 3/4. This one's already marked, and we'll go up on the trellis with that even with the edge, and they'll all be even across the front, and it's the same distance on the back. We're gonna do the 2 outside ones, and then we're just gonna lay it out and decide on the spacing that we want for our trellis. It can be 1.5 inches, it can be 2 inches, it could be 3.5 inches. So we're gonna space them out and decide how we like it, and then we'll know how many we need to cut. So now I have only the end one is screwed on, but those other ones are just set there. These have 1.5 inch gaps on the trellis. These have 3-inch gaps on the trellis. And waiting for Kagan's decision on which one she likes. Giant question mark?
I think I like the bigger space.
The bigger space.
What do you think?
Well, it'll certainly use a lot less wood.
Would there be a benefit to having them closer together, you think?
Not necessarily. I don't think a vine would have any issue gapping 3 inches. I don't think it would make really any difference to the vine. Yeah, let's go with the 3-inch gap. Awesome. We'll get to it. Now I've got the larger trellis done, and the smaller one is done over here. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but all of these free food sources for the animals are going to pay off in the long run. So this one we can allow to vine on that whole section of the fence, that little bit there. It's going to be immensely helpful. And we'll continue to plant other things. I know we need we found a spot in town that has a whole bunch of pothos and some empty lots. Big leaf, well-established pothos that we could put on a couple trees and get growing like crazy. And if you guys remember the cactuses that we put in the ground a couple videos ago, they are doing great. So when these are all big and the tortoises are right there on the other side of the fence, we'll be able to feed them cactuses from over here. So the soil's dry right now, but in just another couple weeks, all the plants are gonna go crazy. Now, Kagan just up potted the vines just yesterday, and I didn't realize that. So she wants them to establish roots for about 2 weeks in the pots. I set this one here so you guys could see what it would look like if you guys can picture. Now again, that's that one that is probably broken, but that growing up there and covering that trellis and the fence, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look real good. And we're done. We're done. I said we were gonna get it done for lunch, but it is way late for lunch. What is it, 2?
2:19.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I'm starving. Gonna go inside and see how my head looks. I really haven't looked at it in a mirror. I can feel it though. It definitely feels a little swollen and sore, and a mild headache. So I think I may go eat a long lunch, maybe watch a movie in the AC.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, before we jump on the next project.
Yeah.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. We'll see you soon.